good evening, and welcome to our third year doing this, Richard. Our third year
Oh my God.
generation movie. Um, Happy New Year to everybody. My name is JW Colwell. I'm joined as always by my good friend Rich Drees.
Good
We have
evening, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy belated New Year.
She's in the green room. We're gonna bring her in now, and hopefully everything's cool with her mic and everything. We should be fine. She's a professional.
I know.
Natasha Bogutzki, how you doing?
Hi, Happy New Year. By the
Happy
way,
New
my
Year.
mic is fine. Your volume is really low, JW,
Oh, okay. I'll raise it and see you.
because Rich is overpowering you. And I mean, I know that's an easy thing for him to do, but still.
He's
I'll take
loud.
it.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going with this. How about now? Better?
Even Ken says JW is low.
I'm low. Well, how do you know, Ken? How do you know for sure?
Get
Um,
low,
okay.
get low, get low, get low.
I'm playing.
To the
I'll do it.
window, to the
I'll,
wall.
that's not what I thought we'd be talking about tonight. Anyway, I'll try to fix it as we go, and then I'll play with it tomorrow night and whatever. Welcome to Generation Movie. It's been an interesting 3 weeks. Lots of movies out, lots of things happening. Let's start with box office. Good place to start tonight, I think. Then we'll get to the other thing, because box office this weekend you could kind of like tell a story through the holidays.
Hmm.
What was number one was this movie here.
Fourth week in a row.
Fourth week in a row. It did its job. It hit the $1 billion mark. Although I will say, and this is only a ridiculous comments we can do with movies that are this big, Rich. It's only at $1.3 billion. Now, so a couple things that I think is interesting where we're having the discussion, because he's basically the only filmmaker that is guaranteed $1 billion movie every time he opens, right? At this point. So
Seems that way.
we're gonna have this discussion where the cost of the movie was exorbitant, and he's
We're
basically
looking at 400 million.
yeah, he's gone to Disney and basically said, I can't make it for any cheaper. So if you want another one or a fifth one, I'm okay with him. And you and I have talked about this. I don't know how Natasha feels about this. I'm okay with him saying no and ending this franchise, because I am not. This franchise does not get me going. Like, this franchise is the opposite. Like, they're good, and I sit through them and I watch them once. I saw it once in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see where it's going to go. And I get why you're saying I'm okay with him ending it. And I'm sure every person who doesn't enjoy it is like, yeah, please end it. Please. Because you're
But
just
my
eating up.
no, it's my yeah, but mine's more of a selfish reason. And I've
I
told this.
literally cannot hear you, JW.
What? Really?
There
Oh my
you
god.
are.
Better? Okay.
A
I'm
little louder, but not much. Usually you're like
mine's
booming.
mine's selfish. I'm gonna say it. I don't want him doing another Avatar because I want him to do something else. Anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
Okay, so
And, and that's
the way I see
Anything.
Avatar for him is it's a passion project. It's like a 40-year passion project. And like Coppola in Megalopolis or Terry Gilliam and The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, these are the things that they feel they need to tell before they run out of time to tell them. And you know
Oh,
what? If he wants to fork over the cash to keep going with it,
I
you know
don't. I
what?
don't think
Let him
Disney.
do
I
it.
don't think Disney's in a position to go. No, we don't. We don't want another Avatar sequel. I just think if you were to say, I want too much money, and Disney says no, I'm not going to be as upset.
Oh yeah.
That's the other thing. I don't know anybody that loves them. That like everybody goes sees them. They're marvels. They're well done. They're good action set pieces. He doesn't like the man knows how to film an action set piece. I'm not gonna begrudge it. I'm just gonna say I'm sick of this planet and I want off. Okay.
I will say this, JW, you'd be a lousy film studio executive. Like I said, these movies cost, an exorbitant amount of money, $400 million. But using, the standard 2.5 times multiplier for profitability, this movie is well into the black already by $300 million. And I don't think it's going to stop until it hits, 1.5 billion total. So for $400 million investment, you're getting a $500 million rate of return.
Yeah, no, I'm not begrudging the movie.
I don't see Disney saying, yeah, let's not make any more of these.
Well, there was some talk that somebody at Disney was bean counting this time because it didn't go over 200 $2 billion. And so there was a little bit of talk in the press and the trades that maybe Disney was like going whatever. And then I guess Cameron kind of put his foot down like in the last couple of weeks, where he basically said, it's all of us or nothing. My entire crew comes or nothing, which is great because he can do that. Fantastic. But it's 342 domestic right now as we speak. Gross another $21 million. Fourth week is number one. Number two was a shocker, but I saw it and I liked it, so I don't care. Primate. It's the best chimploitation movie you'll see this year.
Or ever.
No, they're chimploitation. They're killer chimp movies. Congo.
Got that big BJ and the Bear big screen adaptation coming, right?
Yes. I will say to you, it's not.
My God, I haven't thought about Congo in forever. And the funny part is someone else mentioned it last week, and my brain is going, that's twice in a week I've heard about it and haven't thought about it in 15 years.
Because Primate's out. It's because Primate's out.
Probably.
It's the monkey zeitgeist.
It is. I will say to you, the movie is gory as fuck. And it's so fucking gory and so much fun and just creepy. And it's a guy in a monkey suit. So it's like a tiny person in a monkey suit. And it's grand. It's fun. And it's a January release. It grossed $11 million. Like, it grossed $11.1 million over the weekend, which is great because it didn't cost that much to make. It cost like 16 to make. Third place was The Housemaid, which again started out slow, but has just kind of bumped along through the holidays. And
it's picking up.
It's a fantastic movie. I can't. The Housemaid is better than Primate. I say that with heavy heart. But The Housemaid is better than Primate. But The Housemaid is the beginning of a franchise. If they want it, they can have.
They've already said they're developing the second one.
There's 3 books. So all I know is I went to a wedding a week ago, and all the women at the wedding were talking about The Housemaid. All of the women. Every woman at the wedding, and my wife's like, we haven't seen that yet. You have it? I'm like, I've seen it. Sorry, you haven't gotten a chance. I went. It does have an ample amount of nudity. It also has maybe the next Batman. So I'm going to tell you right now, if they pick that kid for Batman, I'm okay. He looks the part. He looks Brandon Scalar, whatever his name is. I don't know. Okay.
JW.
Yes.
Still can't hear you again.
What? No.
Anyway. Every time you lean in close to your mic and to your computer, I can hear you, but when you sit back, I can't hear you at all.
I like sitting back. I have to get a new mic. I should have gotten it during the holidays, but I had so much shit going on. Okay, so Housemaid looks really good. Brendan Sklar, pretty cool. Sydney Sweeney's got her first hit in a while. It's almost at $100 million domestic. Zootopia 2, by the way. Not Avatar. Zootopia 2, by the way, biggest Disney movie out right now. Still bumping along. 10 million over the 10 million over the weekend, up to 378. but that is at $1.6 billion.
Can we talk about the dark horse that came in around New Year's and kind of, for a day or two, knocked Avatar off a perch?
Talking about Stranger Things?
Uh-huh.
It's not, I wouldn't say it's a dark horse because it's a 5-year franchise. It's a 5-season hit show.
10-year franchise.
Yeah, I mean, but it's, I mean, 5 season is what I was going with. Yeah, and so I don't want to I don't want to discuss it because I don't want to give Netflix any credit. And I also don't want to discuss it because, no, wait a second. I'm going to say this to you as somebody that loves the show and loves everything about the show and has always loved the show. The idea that we skirted around paying those kids for a theatrical release or paying any of those people for a theatrical release by giving out food and drink coupons pisses me off to no end.
I'll agree on that.
It's a
absolutely
shitty thing. It's a shitty thing to do. And if their movie, you know, they had sold out showings all over the country, what was like 1.5 billion tickets sold, 1.5 million tickets sold, or something along those lines. All the showtimes,
and it got bigger too.
Right. I don't want to. Two things. I don't want to give Netflix any stupid fucking ideas, and also, I don't want to praise them for it because, like, they still hate movie theaters. They still hate movie theaters, no matter what they do. The idea that they skirted around SAG contracts and skirted around DJI contracts and all these contracts in an effort to, you know. That being said, AMC or any of the theater chains would be stupid not to take whatever Netflix offers.
Considering right now AMC's stock is in the toilet and they're really close to trying to save their movie theaters, yeah, they can take whatever they're offered.
But we want to save theaters, don't we? Netflix is a distinct theater bully.
It's a theater killing vehicle.
Yes. And the idea that they didn't charge a ticket, like, I don't like that kind of thought process where they're constantly going around trying to skirt around issues to try to be smarter than the average bear. Just be a fucking average bear. And think about how great it would have been for Sarandos to get up at a press conference and go, for 3 days, we beat the fuck out of Avatar at the box office. But he couldn't do that because they technically didn't sell tickets. Your keyboard is so loud. Maybe that's me. Let's get some comments quickly. Welcome back. Hope you all had a great holiday season. Good evening, friends. JW is low. Yes, JW is low. I feel I can hear JW now. Haven't seen the last Avatar yet. No real plans to. Scroll, please. He needs to pay attention to the comments. Does he? I did, but oh my God, so much pressure. Oh, this is the one where I erased the scroll. Hold on. I erased the scroll. The scroll's gone. And I didn't redo it. I'm sorry. We'll have it. I'll have it up and running tomorrow night. Again, I'm back. I went to a wedding. I was on a beach. It's been
and yet you're still.
We've been doing this for 2 years. This is where we're still at.
Yeah, I thought our equipment broke at work when I heard the keyboard. That was her. That wasn't me.
Hey. Yes, I have a loud keyboard. I'm sorry.
Loud keyboard hands. Okay, so the other big movie that kind of spirited out Zootopia is a beast. It's been doing very well in China, by the way, also. 2 other movies open. Greenland Migration opened against Primate. That came in at 8.4 million. Not bad for a lazy January action movie where a bunch of people die with waves and stuff. And then the other one that is doing kind of bumping along, 7.6 million, is this little movie this movie, which is going to be buoyed by Timothée Chalamet winning. I saw it. I liked it. There is one Safdie brother that knows how to make a sports movie. The other one doesn't. So That's a Smashing Machine negative more than.
Damn.
Yeah, I got the hot takes. I'm back. I'm 52 now. I can make my peace. Again, when I
But
came
do you
out,
have your cues?
no,
Heyo.
no. Marty Supreme reminded me. The tension in Marty Supreme reminded me a lot of Uncut Gems, and the tension in the Smashing Machine made me want to cut my eyes with Uncut Gems. So it was a little bit different. A little bit different. Just, it's not a good movie.
I had great high hopes for the Smashing Machine as well, and then
Such a bad movie. So bad. Okay. Housekeeping. If you like us, please subscribe. Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called. Instagram, we have all those places. We also have a Facebook page. By all means, like and subscribe. We also have some big shows coming up. This month, a new show is launching. And if I can find it, well, again, this is all going downhill. Untrained and unscripted. Ryan West and Joe Ridgely are back. They had done a show a few years back, and now they found each other again. Very much like Harry and Sally finding each other again over a 5-year period.
that's so sweet.
See how I tied that all in there? I'm very excited about the show. I think it's going to be starting at the end of January. We're going to be promoting it as we progress. Ryan is coming back to the fold as he was an angry youth, and now he's an angry old man. It's fantastic. Him and Joe should have a sparkling. They're a really good duo together. Hey, JW and Rich. Hello. Hello,
Evening, Jamie.
We appreciate you. There's a lot of clanking going on. Down, wee, woo. And then Ryan says, "Had my orgasm already." We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that orgasm that heard around the world. Glad you had one already. It's a good way to get off.
I was a little premature. I'm so sorry for anybody else that was involved.
Getting off the schneid in 2026. Congrats. Congrats on that. Okay, I don't want to lean back now because my mic isn't working properly. So anyway, fuck me. Natasha, it's good to hear. It's good to have you back. I do like this picture of you, although the new pixie cut is very nice.
Thank you.
We still have this picture that I used to promote, and it's a good, but both haircuts are astounding.
Nice.
I'm in the awkward grow out phase right now, where I'm starting to reach somewhere between Alice Cullen and You've Got Mail, Meg Ryan. So
that is a very deep cut. That is a very deep Twilight You've Got Mail cut.
Dude,
which is not as deep as your haircut, so it all ties.
Seriously though, this was my hair when I went out to dinner the other night. Tell me that isn't Alice Cullen-y.
Well, so is the face. Like you're gonna eat somebody.
I was starving that night too. Trust me, I ate everything.
Apparently, you're apparently. So an interesting thing has happened. You normally only show up around Christmas. The Christmas lights go up. You show up on our show. We're super excited. You also show up to curate at some point, usually during Women's Month. Women's
History Month.
Couldn't think of the fucking word in between women and month. This is where I'm at tonight, kids. But we're glad to have you, because one of the things that happened at the end of 2025 that kind of fucking sucks is that Rob Reiner passed away. So Rob Reiner, one of the greatest filmmakers we've ever had, he passed away. And so we invited you on because we're doing this series, Remembering Rob. And so this is the I'll Have What She's Having episode. You are our guest star. And we're going to do it when Harry Met Sally, because that's a good place to start. Also, we're starting the 2026 off right with a movie that could be considered a New Year's movie, correct?
Yes, I consider it probably the New Year's movie. New Year's has always had this wonderful time of rebirth, renewal, auld lang syne, out with the old, in with the new. And I think that is perfect for what Harry Met Sally epitomizes. Every 6 years, there's a time jump in this movie where they're coming back together, they're meeting up, and they're not the same person that they were 6 years prior. So I like that in the end, everything will then change again on New Year's.
Yeah, it is. Again, there aren't a lot of New Year's movies, but this is probably the one where, the ball drop, the kisses at midnight all matter, right? So let's talk production.
I've done on Filmbuff at least an article on like at least 10 or 12 New Year's movies. You can't say there's hardly any. I mean, I can go from like Poseidon Adventure to New Year's Eve to
that's the other one.
hell, after the Thin Man.
Yeah, well, the Thin Man.
I didn't say that.
I didn't really see it either. I'm just anyway. Poseidon Adventure is another one that I watched recently. That was. Can I tell you a fun Poseidon?
Holiday Inn for me is another one.
Can I tell you a fun Poseidon Adventure rewatch story over the holiday? This you guys will get.
Did you rewatch it while you were on your boat trip?
Well, while you're telling that story, I'm gonna make a cup of tea because I'm nursing a cold. So the water's already ready.
I guess she does not want to hear the story. Anyway,
I do. Tell me the story, JW.
Tell me a story.
Tell me a story, George.
So I was rewatching the Poseidon Adventure, and as many people know, it's got a great cast. Gene Hackman, Ernest Borgnine,
Shelley Winters,
Red Buttons, and the indomitable Shelley Winters. Now, here's where it gets fun.
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen as the captain who gets swept right off the fucking boat. But it has Shelley Winters in it. Now, Shelley Winters is also in one of the greatest film noir films ever made. It is called The Night of the Hunter.
Oh,
it is a film. It is directed by Charles Lawton. It stars Robert Mitchum. It is a phenomenal film noir about an evil preacher chasing children through the southern, just through the South. It's deeply gothic, deeply film noir. Shelley Winters is also in that. Shelley Winters in that movie, spoiler alert, ends up at the bottom of a lake. And she ends up in the bottom of a lake, and she's found with the camera finding her. It's a very sudden. She is drowned. She is under the water. She is strapped in a car and stuck there. But she's beautiful. It's ethereal. It's scary. When I rewatched the Poseidon Adventure, I was waiting for Shelley Winters to drown. And here's where it gets fun. I had overlapped one death of Shelley Winters over another. So as Shelley Winters is grabbing the rope and going through the Poseidon and she finds Gene Hackman, she gets Gene Hackman out. I'm like, oh, she's gonna go back now. This is where she drowns under the water. And she didn't. In the Poseidon Adventure, Shelley Winters actually dies of a heart attack after she saves Gene Hackman. And she ends up she dies right there. And so I was like, the weirdest thing as a film fan, I was overlaying Shelley Winters' death in one movie with Shelley Winters' death in another movie.
Ruh-roh.
It's not a bad thing. It's just an incredibly nerdy, how many people can do that kind of thing, Rich? How many people have seen both the Poseidon Adventure and the Night of the Hunter, and they go, hey, I'm super confused about how Shelley Winters dies in one of these movies. It's just very nerdy and very specific.
It's very nerdy.
It's very nerdy and very specific. And it was one of those things where I was like, what the actual fuck is going on in my brain? Because I watched it the night before my birthday. So it was like, I was waiting for Shelley to drown in Poseidon Adventure. and also thinking like because Poseidon Adventure is one of those scary things. I'm a good swimmer, but I'm terrified by Poseidon Adventure when they're like, "Oh, we have to go 30 yards. We just have to go 30 yards following the rope underwater." Yeah, no, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? So I was waiting for Shelly to pass away because she has that great monologue right before she dives in the water. She's like, "I was a good swimmer. I know I'm fat now, but it's like so she's the ultimate fat character." She's like, "I was a good swimmer sometime, like I was good some point," and it's really sad. But Side Adventure is great. No qualms there that is also a New Year's movie, because so many people died trying to climb up that Christmas tree, that theoretically Natasha would still have up. Anyway,
You didn't.
I did. I do declare I did. Let's talk about production for this fantastic movie that we're doing tonight. This movie called When Harry Met Sally.
Before we go, I do want to say at least you're not confusing with Shelley Winter's death in Cleopatra Jones, where she gets machine gunned or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that would have been why was there a machine gun on the beside? Very confusing.
Did I see Cleopatra Jones or did I see Coffee? I only saw one of those with.
You've seen Coffee. I'm pretty sure we've had a discussion. You've seen Coffee because you've seen Pam Grier.
But here, this
Cleopatra Jones is Tamara Wilson. Sorry.
I think it was Pam Grier. I don't know. I gotta.
And we get those confused. When Harry Met Sally, we're doing Remembering Rob. Rob Reiner, Rich and I were talking about this over the holidays. The idea that we lost him and his track record, his first 9 out of his first 9 movies, 8 of them were spectacular box office hits and critical hits. So not just the only one that was a dud in the first 9 is North, and I don't think anybody could have saved that movie. So, what we have.
Do you know how he came to do North? Did I? Oh no, wait, I told that story last time, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
So that's fine. But it is one of those things where we lost this filmmaker. So what we came up with is we wanted to do to start the year off a Remembering Rob retrospective. We're going to do 4 of his movies. We think we've picked 4 that are astounding and can work for us and for the audience because they're 4 of his very best. But that track record early, Rich, he was unblemished. He had hits with Spinal Tap, Sure Thing, Stand By Me,
Princess Bride.
Then he had this, right? So right out of the gate, he was very dominant, and it is one of the best track records for a film director. It's still talked about in Hollywood annals. But the movie we're talking about tonight is When Harry Met Sally.
I would even say Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally not only shaped a generation, they have shaped generations after that. Like they're still being talked about now. They're still being held up on a pedestal.
Well, this one in particular, I was thinking about it when I was writing the superlatives on why you should watch the show tonight as we discuss it. And one of the things that I came up with was this is the romantic comedy by which every other romantic comedy is judged, right?
Yeah.
It's the romantic comedy where everybody, that's what we're going to talk about legacy-wise. And, we're going to have some similar legacy things as we progress. But the production of this one is super interesting. And also, if you pay attention to the credits, which I like to do, I like to look at who we give thanks to at the end of movies because I stay and watch all the credits because I'm a nerd. But the production is super interesting in the sense that they had a meeting early in 1984 with Rob Reiner, Nora Ephron, and Andy Scheinman, and they met at the Russian Tea Room. So if you've seen Tootsie, you know where they met.
I've been there. It's really lovely.
But Reiner pitched an idea that Nora Ephron rejected. Then they had a second meeting, And then they, basically that second meeting is where the impetus for this film comes from, right? So they're talking about Rob Reiner being a miserable single person and Andrew Scheinman being a miserable single person. And they were just, Reiner at the time said, I was in the middle of single life. I've been divorced for a while, divorced to Penny Marshall, by the way, is who was divorced with. I've been out a number of times, all these disastrous, confusing relationships, one after another. And then the next time they meet, Reiner, basically says he always wanted to do a film about two people become friends and don't have sex because they know it will ruin the relationship. But then they individually have sex anyway. And so Ephron liked the idea, wrote a pitch, wrote a screenplay, and then Ephron kind of like worked on it quietly, right? She then interviewed them at various times during their lives, Reiner and Scheinman, to come up for the basis of Harry's worldview in the movie. And, basically, Reiner would come into the meetings with her depressed and pessimistic, but always funny, right? And always like, I wish it could work out, but it's never going to work out for me. And then she got bits of dialogue from these interviews. And then she took all of the basis for Harry from these interviews with Scheinman and Rob Reiner. And then all the basis for Sally she took from her friends and her friend group, which you can kind of see if you're watching the movie, like the lunch date. There's a lunch date with all three of the women where the one girl has the Rolodex, Carrie Fisher has the Rolodex. And so that's the basis for that. And when you start to think about it, like it's an incredible basis for a movie, right? She didn't want to write it. Also, she got into fights with Reiner about getting all of her ideas down, and then he put her in contact with an old friend named Saul Horn, who, if you pay attention to the end of the movie, a special thanks is made mention to Saul Horn at the end of the movie, the very end of the movie. Saul Horn was Alan Horn's father. And what happened was Saul Horn told a story to Rob Reiner about the idea of when he knew he was going to marry his wife. And he told it at a party, some sort of dinner party. And Rob Reiner's like, that's amazing. I need to get you in contact with Nora. And that is the basis by which they make all of the scenes with all of the couples telling their stories. Is this story from one person's father about how he met his mother in a restaurant, and it's the basis for the first one in the movie. So it is the actual story that Saul Horn used to tell about how he met his wife and how he saw her across a restaurant. I'm going to marry that girl, and it's
Off
so
Eddie's.
It's so incredible. And then they started sending people to Nora Ephron, like all these couples, all these people, and she got all these different things. And then everything was like magic. They kind of came together. Do you guys know the original title for the film?
I actually do not.
No.
Original title for the film that Nora Ephron wanted and fought with Rob Reiner about was something called, she wanted to call it How They Met. And then what happened was Reiner on the set as they were filming, like, by the way, the set photos are incredible with them. Look how happy these people look to be there. And so Rob Reiner opened the bet to the Teamsters working in New York on the thing that basically whoever came up with the title of the film wins a case of champagne. And so
Natasha stuffed the ballot box with ideas.
Well, during Christmas, but that's the kind of thing.
You can't prove that.
The camaraderie and the ideas that were formed on the set are some of the greatest comedy, like romantic comedy things ever come up with. So eventually somebody came up with When Harry Met Sally. And then, a couple of the other interesting side notes, like original people for Billy Crystal was not the first choice, right? Billy Crystal was actually like down the list. It was Tom Hanks, Richard Dreyfuss, Michael Keaton, and Albert Brooks. But Brooks is the only one. Brooks is an interesting thing because Brooks and Reiner are always tied at the hip, and
Mhm.
Brooks flatly turned him down and said, "All you're doing is remaking a Woody Allen movie. That's not a Woody Allen movie."
Oh,
Yeah, but I would argue, like, the interesting thing there is Albert Brooks is on the wrong side of history on this, right?
I don't disagree with his analysis. Certainly, it does have a structure and a tonality, and it very much beat for beat feels like a Woody Allen film. It's just the comedy is different, and the way the characters are different.
I think the female is better
Than you
written
would find in a Woody
than
Allen
any
film.
Woody Allen.
Hmm?
So I like what I was gonna say. Like my take on this when I read this was Albert Brooks dropping a hammer, right? But the interesting thing there is I think he was off in the sense that, and I don't kill me in the comments or whatever, but I think it's better than like Woody Allen. Like for me, it's a better movie than a Woody Allen movie. Like Woody Allen movies for me are always land weird for me. I don't know why.
no, I agree with you. There's only one that
Mhm.
I genuinely
There's only,
like, and I could
there's
watch a
only a
million times
couple-
over. And it's Midnight in
Yeah,
Paris.
the other one, like this one I can this movie I can rewatch over and over. So I think Brooks was,
this feels like Manhattan a little bit to me. Now that we're
Yes.
thinking about it.
yeah, I just think it's better though. Like, and I think the reason it's better is because Ephron's got a better ear for the female voice, right?
Yeah.
Woody Allen is not great at the female voice. They're great objects, but they're not necessarily walking, talking, three-dimensional characters.
Can you say that a little bit louder for the people in the back row?
Was I too
Because
far
that was
away
an
from my mic?
important line that you just said. And I highly agree with you, and no one heard it.
I'm so sorry. What I said was I think the reason I think When Harry Met Sally is better than a traditional Woody Allen film is because I think the female voice is much more concentrated, much more structured, and better version. Usually in a Woody Allen movie, the females are objects. They're
Or
stuff to be
Manic
loved,
Pixie Dream Girls.
or Manic
meant
Pixie
to-
Dream Girl before we got other Manic Pixie Dream Girls, and then I just think the character of Sally and all of her friends are actually just better written than in a Woody Allen movie. For me,
They're
I don't-
grounded. They're realistic. They
Oh
have
yeah,
their
no.
own ideas, their own
It's
dreams.
it's always, these things are always execution dependent. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
just
would
think
say it executes better here.
The
But
one I
the
thought that
similarity is there.
the one I thought was the most interesting. Can you imagine Michael Keaton in this movie? Because I can. I was thinking about it. I can imagine it pretty well, actually. A little bit more intense, but a little bit like I actually think it could have worked at the time. Like he was busy though. This movie came out in '89, so he was busy. He was busy. Hold on.
I'm
right there.
poking around. I'm
was-
trying to find it because it just suddenly popped into my head. Didn't Carrie Fisher do an uncredited ghost polish on this?
I don't have it.
And that's kind of how she wound up in the movie.
I've heard a rumor of that, but it hasn't been confirmed. So, honest? I don't know.
I'm looking around, but Google's being a bitch today.
Yeah,
But I agree with you. I'm a huge fan of Nora Ephron's work, and I'm not just talking about her films. And I love that her and Reiner had a great working relationship. Even so, that when we get to Sleepless in Seattle, which Ephron directed and wrote, Reiner showed up in an acting role.
Yeah, it becomes a very big relationship for him. And
I've definitely been a fan of her work, from her novels, which half decent movie too, with Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson. If you've never seen it, go check it out. And even some of
Heartburn is
her
the movie,
essay
by the
work.
way. She just points to the title. Heartburn is the movie. We're a
Heartburn.
podcast. People might be listening. Heartburn.
Heartburn, yes.
I think the other
my friend and former boss for a day and a half, Nora Ephron.
Oh yeah.
she was your boss for a day and a half.
I remember I did that day and a half of stand-in work on Lucky Numbers when it shot in
You
Harrisburg.
did? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Former boss
Hey,
and friend.
I'm standing there on set. She's standing there with her cinematographer. You know, they're trying to figure out how to
You were
shoot the
so
scene,
close.
and I'm just sitting there watching,
So
going,
close.
"There is no better way I am ever going to learn about movie making than standing like right here where I am at this moment."
Well, and I think I think the other production notes that are interesting that come up as we progress, uh, the idea that the most famous scene in the movie was a group effort was something I didn't know until today, right? So the Cat's Deli scene, one of the greatest comedic female scenes ever put on film from all sides, because guys are in the entire scene. Guys are the complete. We are the getting ripped to shreds, and it also has the greatest screening reaction, right? That we're going to talk about really quick. But the Cat's Deli scene is a very famous scene. It's one of the best scenes in the movie. I have pictures somewhere. Hold on, give me a second, and we're gonna click through. There's one of them. Stell Reiner, by the way, over Meg Ryan's shoulder, and it becomes one of the greatest film scenes, but also
I've eaten a rib in there.
One of the most collaborative scenes in the movie, because so they Nora Ephron and Rob Reiner come up with the idea. Basically, Rob Reiner comes to Nora Ephron and says, "I think the movie is too much about Harry. We need a bangarang scene from Sally that kind of puts her on equal footing, that and maybe even higher footing than Harry."
You are a frontal woman, and I am a woman.
Yeah, and so basically they are like. They had a discussion. Nora Ephron said, one of the I guess it was like a chalkboard they had up where they were just taking different things about they could write or talk about. And she's like, faking an orgasm is probably is a great one that we're talking about. And Rob Reiner said, that's a good one. Let's go with that. And then they bring Meg Ryan on board, and Meg Ryan's like, why don't I just fake one during the restaurant scene? Just do a whole one. And then so Ryan says, I'll do it. Ryan then suggests we do it in the restaurant scene that wasn't moving, I guess, on the page. And then Billy Crystal, during one of the takes, basically comes up with the punchline, I'll have what she's having. And give the line to your mother, because she should have a good line. And so it's...
Funnily enough, though, while I was watching that scene, well, first of all, anytime there's a two shot of Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal sitting, across from each other on a table,
yes,
at a table in a restaurant, and even right there, freeze it. Billy Crystal is always on the right side. Meg Ryan is always on the left. I don't know if that means anything or not. It was just like this little idiosyncrasy of how they shot this that kind of stood out to me. But also in the right where she's towards the end, after we've had one of Estelle Reiner's close-ups of where she's looking like, what? And she has that very stern look on her face. And then they cut back to this two-shot wide. And Meg Ryan is pretty much at the end of her orgasm. And everybody is looking at them. If you look past Meg Ryan to Estelle Reiner, it looks like she is just about ready to crack up. And then they go to her close up.
I think you can actually see her
she's back to that stone face.
I think this actually might be the face, because you can see her. She's a little bit cracky up right there. Also, like,
she hasn't even gone into it yet.
Yeah, no. It's towards the end of the fake orgasm. Yeah.
Yeah, because the hair's not must. I mean,
yeah.
I think the most interesting thing is reading up on it. Do you know they have celebrations at Cat's Delicatessen every year for this scene? That they have celebratory, like, they had an improv everywhere. They have a thing called
those guys are fun.
they do a whole thing where they've been whatever. And the scene was recently recreated in February 2025 for a Super Bowl commercial for Hellman's, which is great. Where Sydney Sweeney delivered back to the housemaid. Sydney Sweeney delivered the "I'll have what she's having" line. So, like,
even there was even a commercial a couple years ago that showed like a montage of regular people acting out famous movie scenes, and one of them was a couple sitting at the table in Cats recreating the orgasm sequence.
Yeah.
I think it was on Muppets Tonight with Billy Crystal.
Oh my God, the pepper!
They do the thing with Miss Piggy, but she's gonna sneeze because she got some pepper up her nose. But it's very much that scene, and it's funny if you're a kid because she's gonna sneeze, and it's hilarious if you're an adult who's already seen this movie.
We haven't talked about it, but Sabrina Carpenter hanging out with the Muppets is the greatest thing ever. I'm stoked.
I'm so excited for that to come.
But what I got from the production notes, we talk about production all the time, how important it is. But what I got from this is that this production was all about the group effort, right? All about everybody working together, everybody putting their embarrassment, their pessimism, their humor, everything came together for this movie, right? And then you add in that they talk Carrie Fisher into taking the supporting role, they talk Bruno Kirby to take the supporting role, right? So it's all of a sudden now it's all these pieces together. And what I got was there's no fighting except for the fact that Nora Ephron's fighting about a title. There's very little fighting. There's a lot of camaraderie, and there's all these people working together in such a great way that as it progresses out, it just becomes this, hour and 39 minutes that's absolutely perfect romantic comedy filmmaking, right? It's
charming. The shots are gorgeous. The editing's fantastic. I think that has one of the best split screens ever.
Look at this. Shots are gorgeous. Look at that.
I know.
Let's talk about that triple split screen scene for a second.
That's one of the best.
Natasha and I have had a short where we had a split screen scene, and as a telephone conversation, and it was murder trying to get that to line up
with two people. This is three separate locations and 4 people going at the same time.
And here's how they did that: they were all in one studio. They had 3 little mini sets all set up next to each other, and they had different cameras on them, and they shot that all live. The take you see is the take. Yeah, I think they took a couple of takes, but the take you see is like they were actually those phones were all actually connected. Everybody was going, live at the same time.
It's an incredible scene.
And it feels like an SNL sketch.
Almost,
It's an incredibly shot scene. What I was paying attention to today, because again, when you're this in deep on things like the 3 of us get on these movies, what I was looking for today was an interesting thing. When the light goes out, I think it's really interesting to pay attention to his ever so slightly the end of his side scene kind of morphs into the dark as well. Mm-hmm. So it becomes like the light infringes just a tiny bit on his light. The idea that, she's gone to sleep, he's probably going to go to sleep now too, kind of thing, where you don't tie anything into it, but it looks so beautiful when it's happening, and it's a great sequence. They're also like
no, we were talking about the one with Carrie Fisher and later on in
the three-way split.
I was thinking about the cat.
Yeah, they did
it. It's a real tough. It's really tough, but it's really great. That scene's great too. The Casablanca one is really nice as well.
High maintenance or low maintenance?
High maintenance or low maintenance? I think Ingrid Bergman is low maintenance.
So
I think you're the very worst, Natasha. I think you're the very worst of all. I think you're high maintenance. Who thinks you're low maintenance?
I tried to write that. That's what took me so long to log in tonight.
I know.
I was trying to write high maintenance. Who thinks they're low maintenance? But it was like you get a max of 50 characters. Like, fuck.
That's when you just give up. This now, that's when you just give up, sweetheart. Just
I
give
had a
up.
conversation about an hour ago with a friend who we were talking, and he's like, "You bougie?" I'm like, "I grew up in the hood. I'm not bougie." He's like, "It's a preference." I'm like, "Okay, that's fair."
You
So
drink
yes,
mulled wine.
high
You're
maintenance who
bougie.
thinks they're low maintenance
You're
is
bougie. You have Bridgerton parties. You're bougie, sweetheart.
is.
I'm not
I
bougie.
hate you too.
I grew up in the hood. Get the fuck out of here.
I did.
Stop it.
I
I'm
did.
I've
sorry.
seen where
You
she
have-
grew up.
I understand
I'm
that,
not
but
gonna argue with her
she's
about
also had
the
Bridgerton parties,
origins.
so I'm
I'm
okay.
30 years old. I can do whatever the fuck I want now.
That's exactly right. You get them, I guess. It's me. Anyway, so this movie
I'll be
has
right
one.
back. I'm sorry,
Well,
the cat.
Stop it.
Oof.
I'm playing with you. This movie has an interesting rollout, Rich. This is one of the more interesting rollouts that we'll see. I don't know if you know, but in 1989, there were a lot of hit movies opening. That was the summer of Indiana Jones and the
Oh, I've
Last
heard.
Crusade. That was the summer of Ghostbusters 2. It was also the summer of this little movie about this millionaire who decided he wanted to fight a clown. Um, and that got the execs at MGM very nervous, Rich. And so I was reading up on this. So it opens on 775 screens, rolls out very, very light, and then 2 weeks later ends up on 1,400 screens. Opening weekend is only $1.1 million, a little bit less than $1.1 million. But then it ends up playing an average of 14 per 6.6 weeks per theater. It goes from 700 screens to 1,400 screens with a production budget of $16 million. This movie ends up grossing 92 million domestic, 100 million worldwide, for a total of $193 million. Here's where it gets fun. Adjusted for domestic box office, the inflation adjusted, it's a 262 movie. $262 million. That's a lot of Surreys with the fringe on top. And what I would say is the interesting thing is, at one point, both Billy Crystal and this is amazing. Both Billy Crystal and Rob Reiner had a dinner together where they basically were fairly confident the movie is going to bomb. Right? We're fairly confident that with Batman and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and all these other movies, we're screwed. But it opened in early July, went wide 3 weeks later, and once it got going, it grows. In the first few weeks, it grossed 8.8 million total. Then once it got to the fourth weekend, where it kind of ballooned out, it was already a hit, and everybody was already talking about it. So it's a fascinating kind of delve back into the past, right? Where we do this a little bit with movies now, but not with a movie with this kind of pedigree, with this kind of like star power. Like it's gonna open, right? It's not gonna open on less screens. We do it now more with Oscar movies. We do it with movies that are platforming out from New York and LA for Oscar consideration, and then they platform out, but not movies like not summer movies, and certainly not a summer movie directed by Rob Reiner, who had under his belt, by the way, by this time, Stand By Me, Spinal Tap, and Princess Bride, and Billy Crystal is pretty hot because he had City Slickers. Actually, City Slickers comes after. Sorry. So it's Billy Crystal.
Well, he was coming off of Soap and Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. So it's an interesting kind of box office story. Fun. Okay. Critical response then and now. Very hard to find a bad review of When Harry Met Sally, but I found a couple of them because I always think it's funny when we have a movie that's at 90% with an 89% from the audience or popcorn meter or whatever the fuck they're calling it now. I always think it's fun to find the negative reviews, and there were some major reviewers that had negative reviews. So I thought I'd read a couple of because I thought they were funny. because especially now, I think they're really funny. Let's see. Karen James of the New York Times said it's often funny but amazingly hollow. It's romanticized lives of intelligent, successful, neurotic New Yorkers. It's like a sitcom version of a Woody Allen film, full of amusing lines and scenes, all infused with an uncomfortable sense of deja vu. Brutal and wrong. Which
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I see I don't see this movie as hollow in any kind of
I don't think
way
it's
whatsoever.
hollow. I also like the sitcom thing. It seems to me like you're having a problem with the idea that we're doing time jumps. Is what the sitcom thing kind of seems.
I mean, the time jumps I could see where somebody would say it feels episodic because of those time
Episodic
jumps.
is fine, but not
But
sitcom-y.
it's those time jumps are necessary to give us that whole arc of how they both change as people and how those changes that happen in between the fade outs impact how they how they bounce off of each other the next time they meet up.
There's actually a couple I have found for more interesting sites. Vulture about 14 years ago did a piece called "When Harry Met Sally is Bad for Ladies," and then there was a whole article on that.
Ooh.
Another one from Elle magazine. This one was 10 years ago. I agree with literally nothing that Billy Crystal says in When Harry Met Sally. And it just keeps going. Like, there are people who, a lot of the stuff is dated. The whole high maintenance, low maintenance argument, I'm pretty certain existed around this time period. But when Harry Met Sally really kind of put it out there for everyone, high maintenance versus low maintenance is the same idea of the virgin and the whore symptom. It's a one or the other. There is not a great basis for being in between. It's seeing the world in black and white and not in shades of gray. And so I think there are certain.
Is funny though, because
it's hysterical. It's hysterical.
The thing that she's most high maintenance about is
because I do know people on those sides.
Right, it's restaurant orders is where she's most high maintenance, and she gets several points in the movie to show off her high maintenance. Like the funny thing about her high maintenance is there are two things I can refer to in the movie where you're going, that's high maintenance. Like when after they have sex and he goes to the little
you have your videotapes.
You have your VHS tapes alphabetized, and I wanted her to say, "Doesn't everyone?" Because it would have been an amazing line.
I know. Mine are too. I get it.
Yeah, mine are too.
At some point in space and time, I may have had a very fat index card file of VHS tapes.
I didn't. I had an Excel sheet.
But now,
anyway, I think
there's an app for that.
So I think then and now it's an interesting thing. I think you could look at it. I think one of the things that happens over time for us, one of the things that happens
DVD profiler.
One of the things that happens over time, right, is that these movies that become classics, eventually there's an underbelly where people are like, I need to rebel against why this movie is classic. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I don't know that the criticism is I don't want to say it's not real. It's real criticism, but I think it's like manufactured. Because the thing it's like me barking at the moon about Avatar movies that have grossed $6 billion. It's me barking at the moon. Who gives a fuck what I think? Right? They've done very well. Everybody goes to see them. Who gives a shit? But I think there's a hater movement when a movie is called the definitive whatever. If it's called the definitive romantic comedy, the definitive sci-fi movie, the definitive, Alien was the definitive horror film, right? Sci-fi horror film, right? Eventually you're going to get haters that come out of the woodwork to be like, well, I can show you why it's not as good as it thinks it is. And it's like, the movie doesn't think it is. It's based on whatever. Roger Ebert, who I would like to think would be a friend of the show, Rich. He basically
Well,
said
go ahead, because I have something to say on that.
one of Hollywood's very best directors of comedy. Most conventional in terms of structure and the way it fulfills our expectation. What makes it special, apart from the Nora Ephron screenplay, is the chemistry between Crystal and Ryan, and I think that's the key to the movie. Right? They have incredible chemistry. They work well together, and the script is it's just a firecracker.
It works like clockwork.
It works like a clockwork, and then I didn't realize it was this short. When I'm looking at it, I'm like an hour and 37 minutes.
It
like,
cooks.
Holy shit! It moves fast. And I think I just think it's one of those things where it's like, I think it's manufactured hate. But what were you gonna say, Rich? I'm sorry.
I don't know if it's necessarily manufactured hate, because let's face it, like any other form of art, whether it's literature, it's painting, it's a play, movies are going to be constantly reevaluated through time as time goes on, based on then current societal filters. So, looking at this movie, like looking back 30 years or so at this movie, yeah, the high maintenance, low maintenance thing, like, is kind of dicey. This is like looking back at, okay, let's use another romantic comedy, Chasing Amy. Everybody thought that was very progressive. Nowadays, a lot of people in the LGBTQ community look at the film as like, I don't know about some of its politics. I don't know if it's as right-headed as we are now. And that's where you have to kind of take that step back and go, okay, but with this, viewing it as an object of its time, it was progressive.
You have to think about it in the history of the time period it came out in.
Yeah.
And most people can't do that. They only see it through the lens of the current time.
Mm-hmm.
They look
when Harry Met Sally came out, we're at the end of like the greed is good 80s. This is very much, I think, a movie about how we just related to each other as people through that whole past decade. Is basically is like, because it's like 77 through 88, 89, and I think the movie is really about it's about these two characters and how they grow and change and find each other ultimately, but it's also about how changing attitudes towards sex. Look at college age, bad wig, Billy Crystal, at the beginning is just like, yeah, he just wants to nail anything that moves. And that's, that's most 21-year-olds. But it was also kind of just like emblematic of the pre-AIDS, post-sexual revolution, disco era 1970s. And by the end of it, though, he was in a completely different place in his attitude about relationships. And I think that's what makes it. You could say, "Oh, Billy Crystal's problematic at the beginning of this movie." Well, that's because that's our 21st century view of 1977 society, and that's what makes movies great. Though, is they are these these little historical time capsules that we can go through and watch and go, "Oh, okay, yeah, I see where we've come, progressed or whatever."
I agree.
And
with that. I think
people who hate to hate. I'm circling around here. I'm wrapping up here. Hold on. People who, kind of like want to reevaluate just to hate on something, I think miss that point. I don't think they're applying looking at something with the historical view. You need to be looking at something. You can say, yeah, it's bad from our point of view, but here, and yeah, you're missing out. It's like people complaining about certain words in Huckleberry Finn or something like that.
Well, no, I think that's the true thing. When I say manufactured, I don't mean it in like a way that's whatever. I think every once in a while movies get put on pedestals. This is one of those movies that gets put on pedestals. And when somebody says, "Oh, I like a new romantic comedy or whatever," they're people our age or people a little bit younger than us are like, well, have you seen When Harry Met Sally or whatever? And I think the manufactured hate comes in is that sometimes when we're watching movies or looking at movies, we're not necessarily we don't take into account all those different things, and we don't take into account the time frames in which they're released, and we just want to kind of like my new stuff is better than your old stuff, right? And this is why it's problematic. It's problematic for us now.
This film for me is one of my all-time favorite films. Actually, it's number 3 at the list. I watch it probably once every month or every 2 months. I have it memorized. I didn't even need to watch it coming into this show. I have hosted dinner parties around this.
It doesn't
movie.
have that actress in it. It doesn't have the actress that you really like in it. I'm surprised. Is that one of you? Is that in like a? Trying to think
Eva Green?
Yeah, doesn't have Eva Green in it. I'm like,
so.
I'm just saying. I'm surprised you have a movie that doesn't have Eva Green in it.
All of my 3 top films do not have Eva Green.
Okay.
For me, that has nothing.
That was a deep cut. It was a deep cut to play. Just trying to have a good time, Natasha. I know Grumpy Old Men didn't have Eva Green either. It would have been a much different movie.
Technically, we got Sophia Loren in the second one, so. Oh yeah. But I mean, this film is definitely something that I'm not. Thank you.
Yes. I was just realizing I have pictures. There's the Rob Reiner scene you were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's where she's looking, and you can tell she's about to break. This picture's a little
holding her
potato
mouth.
funny, but yeah.
So when it comes down to whether or not the old is better than the new or vice versa, for me, it doesn't matter. I think this movie is a hell of a lot of fun. I love that, with the exception of like one scene, they don't really talk about their jobs all that much. It's not something that matters to them. They matter more about living in the now. You see the little things, like, as annoying as it is, her going through the mail and putting each one in and make certain it all goes in, and it's finally
I forgot that scene was in this movie, and it's hilarious. There are like the little moments between them are really well done when he just kind of like he stops and he walks over to the mailbox, and it's like it is a perfect example of Billy Crystal understanding comedic beats.
Yeah,
because it is stop, walk over, and he looks at it, and just kind of like.
Yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful movie. And I would consider, for most of my friends, this is one of those movies that I would say, if you want to be friends with me, you have to see this movie. I literally sat down my girlfriends and I'm like, you've never seen Princess Bride? You've never seen When Harry Met Sally? Double feature tonight. Like, I'm making dinner. Come on over. Grab a pillow.
I did that with new friends with Kentucky Fried Movie, and it did not work out as well.
I hated Kentucky Fried Movie. I couldn't even finish it. I hated it. But anyway, like, I had a girlfriend so nervous at the end of When Harry Met Sally. She took my pillow and she was like holding it like this. Like, oh, it was the most adorable thing in the world. I have hosted dinner parties around this movie.
I will say that in the rewatch today, holds up remarkably well. It's very efficient. Like, that's, if you could give, like, for romantic comedy folks, right? One of the things I think they could take away from this movie. I see a lot of romantic comedies that are being made today. They are long as fuck. It takes forever for the people to get together. And I just want, like, cold, efficient gunmetal. Like the original Terminator. Just get in, get out, do what you gotta do.
My issue is that most romantic comedies now are not smart. They don't feel real. They feel like fan fiction.
I've only seen one or two recently that were decent.
Yeah.
I thought the Sydney Sweeney Glenn Powell one was okay.
That one wasn't bad, but I mean,
it's long. It's 2 hours and 7 minutes. It goes on forever.
You do realize that it's just Much Ado About Nothing, right?
Yeah, no, I understand.
I'm
just telling you, I don't care about that. I care about the fact that
I would recommend Michael Showalter's. I'm blanking on the year, but it was within the last 5-6 years. They Came Together with Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler.
It's pretty good.
It's a very funny comedy that's in a way spoofing the romantic comedy genre while also being a really good example of it as well. If you haven't seen that, folks, track it down. It's really hilarious.
I have two questions for you guys. One concerning this movie and one
Okay.
concerning rom-com in general.
Okay.
One, in this film, you can solidly break down this movie into 3 acts. Everyone I find has like their favorite version, like their favorite act of this film. Which one's yours?
Ooh. Rich, you want to go first? I'll go first. I'll go first.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I think I know what I want to say, but
I'll take the second act because I think the second act gives you a lot of good moments. It gives you the blow up. It gives you the blow up at over the oak table. It also gives you the moments where they're kind of like, it's like a getting to know you kind of phase where they're walking around, they're doing different things. It also gives
you made a woman meow.
Made a woman meow. It also like the middle section also has the moments where it has the moments where like the friendship stuff is going on. When you were talking about like the idea of the jobs, the only time jobs get mentioned in this movie is when people are trying to set people up with other people. What do they do? She's Emily. She's Emily Cakes, like whatever that thing.
Or the airport,
airport or whatever. I think the second portion works best for me because it's the best portion for both of them in the sense that she's coming out of her shell. He's becoming more mature person.
Mm-hmm.
He becomes a better, like when he loses his wife, he becomes a better human being because he's hurt and he like the idea that you've hit your head against the wall so many times. I need to course correct. So I'm not gonna try to have sex with her. I'm gonna be friends with her because I can get information that I need. It is a good version of both of the characters. I mean, Billy Crystal running through New York at the end is also really great. and the end sequence at the party where she's like going home, like there are not a lot of misplaced scenes in this movie. There's no wasted energy. Like but I'll take the second act because we need to believe that they're going to fall in love or not fall in love, but we need to believe something. And the second act gives that space.
Rich?
That second act though doesn't work without the first act. And what I like about the first act, as I'm thinking about it, is the idea of fate. I think that these two people, they go to New York, they find, they have their initial meet, and it doesn't go well over that 18-hour drive. Probably 20 hours with stopping for food and her ordering. But and then 5 years later, they, kind of bump into each other again. And, and then again at the bookstore later on. And it's, I really like the idea that every 5 or 6 years, they're kind of different people, like we talked about before, but they still kind of just wound up meeting each other, bouncing off each other a little bit, going back on their personal journeys until they, they really just after the bookstore, after meeting up at Shakespeare and Company, they really, that's when they connect, because the other 2 times weren't the right time. And we see that.
Can we also talk about how fate is a cruel mistress? And if you've ever noticed this, it's always the people you don't want to see that you end up running into, and the people that you do, you never see.
True.
Well, the fate and the fate is a cruel mistress thing is also very big, but there's at least 5 or 6 lines that kind of go over that in the movie where they're talking, and Billy Crystal, one of the jokes after he meets his wife and Ira, one of the jokes is, in a city of 8 million people, eventually I was going to have to run into her. And it's like, were you? What was the chance of that? And so you're right. There's a fate component to it that's super nice. It's super cool. Let's talk now, Natasha. You asked us this question. What about you?
I'm taking the
jump to
second
the
as
end.
well. From the
Wrong answer.
the tough
Wow.
shit.
I think it's the right answer.
It is the right answer. The second act is absolutely the best. You see them change, you see them reconnect, you see them have more patience with each other. It's where you get the best shots in the best locations. It's where you get the biggest moments of comedy, whether they
Oh my
have
God,
lines or not.
What if
One of
I
my
told
favorite
you
shots
the
is
silhouette
literally-
stuff in the museum is absolutely beautiful. That's
Oh,
like
low boathouse.
I would take a frame of that and blow it up and frame it and hang it on the wall.
What about
My-
I'm going to blow your mind right now, Natasha. The second act is also reminiscent of Beauty and the Beast. There's a whole second. This movie franchise. I'm one of the jumps
Which
I'm going to
one?
make. The sequence where Lumiere and Mrs. Potts are all sitting there and is like, I think there is something there that wasn't there before.
Oh yeah, well that came out years later, so technically they stole
But-
it from this.
Yes. No. I look what's up on the screen for franchise legacy.
Okay, good point.
I
Actually,
try
my favorite
to mesh
scene,
things with animated movies for some reason.
my favorite
like
scene in the second act is actually when they're trying to set up Harry's apartment. The timing is perfect there. There's nice little beats, like they turn the carpet and she's like, no, it's got to go this way. And then they turn it back around. And it's a nice moment. It feels like a bro moment where it's like, hey, you went
but
out
she
on the
gets a
date.
gut
Tell
punch.
me about it. Really?
She gets a gut punch in that scene, though.
She
like,
does at the end, yeah.
Like right at the end, she gets a gut punch. Like,
Of
what do you
reality.
mean you slept? What do you mean you slept with her? I mean, I slept with her. That's
Yeah.
what it was supposed to.
You went to bed with her? Huh. And that's what starts the most iconic fucking scene in the film, which is Kat's Diner. But I think there is what is in that scene is not only just a real timing to it where it feels natural, but you also get an idea of, hey, we're not friends completely. We are, and we can tell each other anything, which is why I'm telling you this, because you need to know that we're not the same because you are on the other side.
Yeah, I think let's. It's a great movie, and all three acts work. I think Rich has a point that the first act you can't have the first without the second, which is
true.
I mean, that's crazy twisted logic. But
now the other question, I need to get to it before we end.
Okay.
When did rom-coms become chick flicks?
Oof.
Because I feel like there is a big difference, and it's based off of the smartness of the writing.
Well, and I think part of it, I'm going to say this. There are, from a writing perspective, and this movie is kind of a perfect example of it because we talked about it during the production, right?
Mhm.
Who is Nora Ephron talking to? Nora Ephron is talking to Scheinman and Rob Reiner, and they're going over their things. So the male stuff is really good, right? The male stuff is pessimism. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is going wrong. All these different things. When you get into, I'd say, let's go mid-90s. The guy characters are not well written in a lot of those movies. And from like the female perspective is there, but if you want to talk to a guy, if you want to take a guy to see a movie like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or some of that garbage, like the guys are poorly written, they're stupid. I'll give you an example where I think the movie that this movie kind of the smartness, but also it kind of fakes everything out. The one that I thought of with this movie where the writing is as crisp as Wedding Crashers, just had its big anniversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
The writing is crisp, and that writing is for both sexes, right? The stuff early is very funny, but by the time you get to the end of Wedding Crashers, where are those two guys at? They're both trying to get married, right? So it's something like, I think one of the things that happens with this movie is that both sides are written particularly well, and the reason other romantic comedies pale by comparison is because I think the guy shit is weak. Guy
Would
stuff is
you say the same thing of the films written by Richard Curtis, who is considered to be up there when it comes to rom-coms?
no. I think his movies
Oh
are fun because
no.
no. You asked me when it started to go bad, and I'm giving you an example. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is one
Now,
of the people
So
love
that
it.
early 2000s, not mid 90s.
Is that early 2000s?
late 90s, early 2000s.
That was like
I-
2003.
And this
Somewhere around
can
there.
go either way. When one half of the prospective couple is underwritten, a lot of times it's the guys. Sometimes it's both of them are underwritten. And you've heard me probably use this phrase before about like unfunny romantic comedies because they merely, and this is a lot of Katherine Heigl product, where I've said, "Oh, make funny face fall down movies." Where it's just like, I'm the girl, whoops, I'm a klutz, and down she goes. It
Oh, Katherine Heigl's a good
it's
choice. That's a great. Her
it,
movies are fucking awful. Her movies are terrible.
I
Like there
and
are
she's a fine
legit
actress, and
awful.
I feel bad that she got
I don't know if she
kind
is.
of like
I don't know if she is.
stuck into some kind of weird cul-de-sac in her career there for a while.
Nancy Myers.
Um,
Thoughts on Nancy Myers?
She's fine. She writes both.
she's good.
She writes,
She understands
she writes
character.
both things. Yeah. Like
hmm
if you're talking about like Something's Gotta Give, which I rewatched recently, right?
So good.
That-
So good.
Really well done, but the male characters are have just as much shit going on as the female character.
Mm-hmm.
I think where you get in a bad romantic comedy that isn't like this, where the legacy, like this movie, legacy wise, creates this kind of shadow for all the other romantic comedies to kind of either you come out from the shadow or you stay under the shadow. And I think when you talk about like Nancy Myers, like the character in Something's Got to Give, that's the best written character in the movie, is not Nicholson or Keaton. The best written character in the movie is Keanu Reeves. That character is astounding because he's like, you have a problem with her age, but I don't have a problem with her age. And if I don't have a problem with her age, why do you have a problem? Like,
Yeah.
it's realistic. And
Like
it's
he sees a gem. He sees a diamond.
Yes, he sees something he likes, right? And so we're not talking about the people that make bad romance. We're talking like Nancy Myers, Richard Curtis. Those are all good writers that give depth to all their people. I think when you get into bad romantic comedies, like you watch some of those movies, the Kate Hudson movies, the Katherine Heigl movies, where it's like I'll give you an example. Like this movie has Billy Crystal. Early Billy Crystal in this movie is immature, right? He goes through a progression, he figures things out, and whatever. Almost every like bad romantic comedy movie involves like the male character being dumb and not realizing he found the love of his life. It's bad. And I think that's where like it's funny. Romantic comedies, women flock to them. I think you guys flock to them because you guys are written well, and the guys are written poorly. So you go, that's what we think of them. That's who they are, right?
And honestly, how many movies where the guy well the lead is a male character, an action movie or what have you, and the female characters are written terribly underwritten. You know, so I mean it's a net it's epidemic across all genres depending on your point of view and depending
we
on the
don't make
genre.
romantic comedies anymore because and people watch them on Hulu instead of watching them wherever. The one I would also say that I thought like legacy franchise was the other movie I was thinking about today with this movie was 10 Things I Hate About You, because I think 10 Things I Hate About You is as well written as this movie. Both sides, they both have, everybody's got foibles, everybody got shit going on. You know what I mean? And I think the legacy of this movie is that you either jump out from its shadow or you stay in its shadow and see Six
But
More
you,
Weeks of Winter as a shitty romantic comedy.
but you kind of can't throw 10 Things I Hate About You into the mix, because that, yes, everyone is kind of got their own thing going on, but it's an adaptation of an already existing IP.
Right, but it doesn't have to be that well written.
No, it didn't. But it was.
That's what I mean. I think if you were talking about legacy franchise, part of this legacy of this movie is that write your male characters and write your female characters equally well. Don't fuck around. Don't give us easy shit to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, and the other problem with romantic comedies, while we're talking about it, Natasha, right, is the other real big problem is most of them have just this one whatever the filmmakers pick at the beginning of the movie. This is going to be the blockade. She's a little bit tomboyish, or the guy's mother doesn't like her, or like this movie doesn't have it, right? So the interesting thing about this movie, legacy wise, is that this movie, the blockade is the two characters. They each have their own blockade, and they each have their own like way around their own blockade. And so if you want to make a great romantic comedy, you try to look at this movie and realize that everybody needs to be equally written. It would be my answer. Does that make sense or no?
Yeah, I agree on that. I would say comparatively, It's Complicated by Nancy Meyers would have something similar. I know it doesn't end on a good note for any of those characters, but what it does have is that they themselves are their own issue.
Yes. They have to fix it themselves. Other legacy things before we go, because we're running long, because we're all loquacious folk.
You're talking about my third favorite film of all time. Of course, we're going to run long.
We would be remiss to not mention the legacy of this. Yeah.
Oh, Castle Rock.
Yes. This movie is one of the first movies that has it. So this is where they kind of started grabbing all the people for that particular company. Alan Horn, Saul Horn's son, becomes one of the leaders of Castle Rock, along with Andrew Scheinman and Rob Reiner. And also watching it today, I was incredibly sad that we're not going to get any more Rob Reiner stuff. You know, but we will be back next week, and I think you're coming back, aren't you? Are you coming back?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not sure what I'm coming back for. You want to tell everyone?
Yeah, we're going to tell everyone right now, Natasha. Don't rush.
I'm learning with them.
He's a showman. Let him do his thing.
Feel the cat's deli, okay?
I've been to every location.
Boom.
Yes!
I wasn't expecting that kind of excitement. Next week, we'll be doing A Few Good Men. We picked, for 4 weeks of Remembering Rob, we picked 4 of the movies we thought were the best suited to kind of span a certain amount of his films. So we're doing A Few Good Men, and we don't know what order we're doing the other ones. I'm not going to give them away until the next couple weeks, but we're doing A Few Good Men next week. Comments as we finish up. Hold on.
I thought I just woke up the entire house with that, so I was like,
you might have. I hope you didn't. Let's see. I can already see tomorrow night's show is going to be interesting. I'm working on it. Joe, give me a second. Shelley Winters doesn't do well in water. No, she does not. But I also did not do well remembering what happened to Shelley Winters. Great show, all of you. Great, huge movie props. Rob Reiner, such a filmmaker legend for me. Stand by me, help shape my childhood. Well, look for us in a couple of weeks, Brandon. As did a lot of his work. God bless Rob and his wife. Taken too soon, far too soon. I agree with that. Every Hallmark rom-com they got together last 10 minutes. Yeah, those fucking movies can go, Natasha. I don't care if you like them.
I hate every single one of them.
Christmas Hallmark movies, all of those fucking movies can go right off a cliff.
I don't care for them. They're not my cup of tea, but I will give them credit. Was it last year or 2 years ago? They made 2 Hallmark movies that were basically like the characters were like that were like 2 sisters, and they kind of like crossed over or whatever.
Oh my God, it was amazing. But that one, no.
I was like, they're at least experimenting with the genre.
It's Anna Gasteyer, and Rachel Pugh. Rachel.
I have to tell this quick story about this. This is how much I hate Hallmark movies. I got stuck down at my in-laws in North Carolina during COVID, and they loved Hallmark Channel. It was the only thing they played. So I was laying on the sofa reading a book, and the one I was watching.
Your first problem. You were reading in the South.
And there was one on about a woman who was trying to make a animated short film that was going to go up for Oscar consideration. And I went, oh, okay. And
that's how easy it is.
I put down my my book, and I'm like, okay, I will watch this one because I'm curious. And then by the time we get to the end, we get to witness said animated short film. And I got so fucking livid. I stood up.
I can't imagine me getting angry.
Pointed at the television and went, that piece of shit would have never gone up for an Academy Award. And I stormed out of the house.
Yes.
I'll sit down on the dock.
What was that movie? That movie, by the way, was
I don't fucking remember.
Anyway, I'm just kidding.
It was 5 years ago when I
okay, so we'll be back. We will be back next week. We also want to talk a little bit about before we go. Not that. We're back. Unscreened and unscripted. Ryan West, Joe Ridgely, coming soon to Thursday night. So we'll have 3 nights of programming: Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. What is that? Is that like a truck?
Yeah, that's outside my window. I'm sorry, man.
Holy Rich, you're supposed to say excuse me.
I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Tomorrow night, Loud Nerdy returns. We're talking some Twilight Zone, talking some other stuff. I want to thank Natasha Bogutzki. Where can people find your stuff? Are you just on Instagram? Where are you at?
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, IMDb. Just shot a short film yesterday, so we'll see when that starts hitting the screens. We have one out to festivals right now called Give Back. You can follow my page. I'm constantly putting up things about, stuff it gets into. Rich and I also have one called Murphy from Cineveris Productions that's out to the festivals right now. Bitch, I was gonna let you do that one. It's your movie.
Please, so much. Please, just do what you're gonna do. He has so many things he's gonna promote right now. So just
I know.
Get in. Thank you for joining us tonight. Rich, where can people find your stuff? What are you looking for? What are you
doing? All of my writing can be found at filmbuffonline.com. We got a Facebook page. Check that out, where you can find out about all the latest stuff. Also, Twitter and Blue Sky. I've got another podcast that I produce for the Philadelphia Film Critics Circle called The Film Scribes. You can find that anywhere. Our last 2 episodes went up right at the end of December. One was our Best of 2025 voting episode, and the other was just everybody's thoughts on the year 2025 as a movie year. We had about 7 or 8 members of the group contributing to that. Lots of different opinions, lots of great stuff to check out. So please do. Thank you.
Oh, not bad. That one was only 34 seconds.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those different places. Indie Escape Network, one of the fastest growing networks on the interwebs. Also, you'll appreciate my ultimate Christmas gift.
Can't hear you.
Oh my God. Well, I'm just saying my ultimate Christmas gift. If you look over my shoulder, you can see the penguin. He's amazing.
Nice.
He has a cloth jacket.
I thought that was Godzilla from here. Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It is clearly Oswald Cobblepot.
Well, now it is.
One of my favorite characters of all time. Thank you to my wife for this. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great week. Go see a movie. Lots of movies opening this weekend, including The Bone Temple. Woo! Thanks for joining
Fathom
us.
event this weekend. All 3 extended editions of Lord of the Rings, both this weekend and next weekend coming up.
can't do the extended editions. I just want to see the original. Loud and nerdy tomorrow night, kids. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a good week. We'll see everybody next week for You Can't Handle the Truth. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you for coming, Natasha.
Thank you
Bye.
for having me. Have a good night, guys.